And now it is time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome. Here we are on a Monday morning. The sun is shining. You're going to burn off the frost. A little frost this morning, not a lot, but we can say it frosted on April the 22nd. So I want to welcome Matt Bryson this morning for Absolute Kubota. Matt, good morning to you.
Good morning, Coleman.
Nice to have you, of course. And we remind everybody Absolute Kubota is located at 1506 West Main in Lebanon. They are your Kubota dealer, of course, with Kubota tractors. And they have hay equipment, zero-turn mowers, RTVs. And Matt's here to tell us all about it this morning. How's your weekend?
Coleman, it was great. This cooler weather this weekend really was able to get out and get a lot of things done. Just had a enjoyable time.
Well, you have been at Absolute Kubota, I guess, since the beginning, and I think we can say you've really done well. And I'm not so sure that one of the good things that really happened is when you made the move to 1506 West Main, I guess 3 or 4 years ago now.
Yes, sir. We moved there in October of 20, kind of right as we were sort of in the height of the pandemic. And, it was that move was, we never actually missed a day of work. I think we shut down on a Saturday at noon and started moved the rest of the weekend, opened right back up on Monday morning. But that location has definitely been a good transition for us. It's allowed us to really showcase a lot of the equipment there on the, right off West Main. And then more importantly, it gave us a little larger service department. Mm-hmm. So we have about, I think it's around 6,500 square feet under roof for our service team. So it gave those guys a little more room to work. And so, yes, sir, it's just been a good move.
And you have some great people that work for you. You've got Caleb Hieronymus in sales now, I believe, and we probably need to talk to him sometime. We've let Don Hamlet do all the talking. Don is gone, and but you got a great team. I think it goes without saying, and people appreciate that.
Well, we do our best to try to keep the same faces there. That's not always easy. We've been in business now for 10 years, and so we have had our share of turnover like anyone does, but Caleb is certainly a great asset for us on our sales side, and we've introduced a new gentleman. He's not been out here yet, but Mr. Brandon Carnahan is also moving into that position to kind of fill the shoes that Don left, and so we do have a really a good team on sales. But also we talk about this a little bit on our product support side. A lot of times the types of products we sell, the customer, I just had a gentleman ask me on Saturday, what do you guys do after the sale? Do you have technicians that work on the equipment? Do you have good parts support? And the answer is yes. These types of products, because of the way they're used and how they're used, and the environment they're used in, they do last a really long time. But things break on them, and they have to be fixed every now and then. And so we're able to support that after the sale.
And then there has to be some maintenance that's done too. And a lot of this stuff you can fix it now or fix it later. And if you wait, it's probably going to cost you a lot more.
Well, and we do have on the service side, we do a tremendous amount of services through our service department. I think right now we have somewhere in the neighborhood of around 100 units going through our service department. So that's a lot to manage, a lot to keep up with. But we have about 6 or 7 technicians, service writers, service advisors. So we've got the staff to support that.
Well, a lot of what you do is connected with lawn mowers, lawn mowing, hay too, as far as that goes. But I mean, the grass is already being mowed and people are busy, and that means you're even busier.
That's something I'd like to talk a little bit about real quick this morning is, yes, sir, we are definitely on the turf side when it comes to anything, especially when it comes to small acreage, mid-range farms, things like that. people that are mowing, 3 to 5 acres. We have the equipment to take care of that. But we do have a wide selection of zero-turn mowers right now. They're running some really incredible financing. Some of this stuff we can take out to 0%. We can take it out to 60 months. Mm-hmm. So if you're looking for a good, high-quality zero-turn mower, it's going to last you. I mean, some of these mowers will last customers 15 to 20 years if we put them in the right mower to begin with. And people ask me, well, what do you mean by that? If you're mowing 5 acres, we can put you in a lawnmower that should last you about 15 to 20 years. Now, that mower is more expensive than the one that is going to be more for the customer that's mowing 0 to, say, 2 acres or so. Mm-hmm. So if we get you in the right mower at the right mower the first time, usually you've got a mower that's going to last you a long time.
Well, and of course, we can mention names here. Of course, you have Kubota, but you also have Exmark. Exmark's a big name in lawn mowers.
It is. Exmark amongst the commercial user, I think it's purchased like 2 to 1 over any other brand still. And so a lot of our commercial landscape contractors here locally, these guys run this brand of product. It's a really, really strong, well-built machine. But a lot of what goes along with the Exmark product, too, is the way it cuts. Predominantly, these lawns here in Middle Tennessee are fescue lawns, mm-hmm. and this particular brand cuts these lawns really, really well, and so that's why you see them on a lot of the landscape trucks.
All right, remind everybody your website, www.absolutekubota.com, and your hours, Monday through Friday?
7 to 5.
And Saturdays?
We're open 8 to 12 right now on Saturdays.
All right. Well, Matt, so good to see you. And,
good to see you.
Keep up the good work. We'll do it again next week.
Thank you, Coleman.
All right. Matt Bryson with Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main, 10 and a half after the hour. This is the Monday we feature Representative Susan Lynn. She is here and has got a lot of good information to pass along this morning. We've even got some breaking news for you. And I'm going to let you start off where you want to start this morning. But good morning, first of all.
Good morning.
And it's nice to see you right here live in studio, and we'll find out about the legislature. But first, is on that list, is that what you want to talk about first?
Well, I just wrote down some ideas for you. The trip, I'm trying to help you out.
A trip to the Texas border, Eagle Pass, and the Rio Grande. All right.
Yes. I was fortunate enough to be asked to go on a trip to the Texas border last weekend. And so that I could see firsthand for myself what is happening at the border. We flew into Austin, and we had a briefing at the state capitol. And of course, the lieutenant governor was there. He helped with the briefing. Very, very, very interesting to learn all the statistics of what is going on at the border. Tremendous. And God bless Texas. Texas has spent about $7 billion. I can't even imagine spending that much money in our budget, but protecting the border. They have spent an awful lot of money. So the next morning we got up and we flew down to Eagle Pass and got in an airboat and went up the Rio Grande, down the Rio Grande, saw the infrastructure that Texas has set up to try to keep folks from just invading our country and coming over. There were boxcars set up just in a line as far as you could see. And then on top of the boxcars is, razor wire. And then there were the buoys in the water, but the federal government sued Texas to remove the buoys and to remove the razor wire. So they remove it every so often, and Texas just puts it back because the Supreme Court said Texas could put it back too. So it is an ongoing game going back and forth, but we did see a lot of lookouts. We were on the water, saw a lot of lookouts.
Describe the river. It's not all that big a river, is it? I've seen pictures where it seems like it's fairly narrow, and I'm thinking fairly shallow.
Right, and right now the federal government has been diverting water, so it's extremely low, which makes it walkable. You can literally walk across. The most interesting thing I saw was any land that is Texas land, you had the boxcars, the razor wire, the buoys and the water, all of that. We got in a helicopter and flew north and got to some land that is the federal government's land. There's no Baser wire. There's no buoys in the water. There's no Trump wall. There's nothing like that at all.
No barriers, whatever.
Nothing at all. What there was, though, about 30 feet in on the shoreline, the entire shoreline just had just all this different colors, all this different stuff. We're up in a helicopter. And I said to the pilot, what is all that stuff down there? It almost, you couldn't tell what it was. It was clothing. It was clothing. The federal government lines the shoreline about 30 feet in with dry clothing. And it's like someone took their laundry and just threw it out there, but it's all in a line. It's obviously, done with intention. And so that when the illegal aliens come across, of course, they're wet from being in the river, and they can get out of the river and put on dry clothes. So it was very enlightening. There were so many other things I learned, but one of the things I did, I saw the National Guardsmen. Of course, when the governor sent out a call for 100 volunteers from Tennessee National Guard to go to Texas, 400 showed up at the airport. And God bless Tennessee and other states. There were legislators there from other states. They didn't have that kind of response. So God bless Tennessee, working very hard. But every time, I saw a guardsman, I had a pin with the Tennessee state flag, and I put it in their hand, and I just said, on behalf of the good citizens of the state of Tennessee and the Tennessee General Assembly, we thank you for your sacrifice of being here. We know you love our country, and we thank you for defending our country. And so it was a very enlightening experience, and I've come home and shared it with my caucus.
Got to go to a break, but before we do, it's almost like the U.S. government and the Texas government are at odds and are even fighting each other in a way.
It truly is, and it's almost like the U.S. government is helping the traffickers on the other side. You can't get to the border of that river, the edge of that river, on the Mexican side to come over unless you've paid a very heavy amount, a lot of money to the traffickers, to the extorters over there.
Cartel, whatever.
Yeah, the cartel, right.
Yeah.
You can't even get down to the river unless you've paid them. Yeah.
State Representative Susan Lynn here. Time for a break on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And now let's check back in with Commander Chuck and on-time traffic, see what's happening out there on those roadways. And traffic brought to you by Bates Ford, located at 1673 West Main Street. They got the works vehicle checkup for you, tire rotation, safety check, up to 5 quarts of oil plus disposal, $59.95. And you can give them a call at 444-8221. Here's Commander Chuck.
Good morning. It's loading up pretty good with some more heavy volume on 24 westbound up through the Antioch area. Coming in right now from Murfreesboro, Rutherford County. We still see some heavy traffic from where we had a stolen vehicle earlier on 40 going eastbound there at 46th Avenue. Hopefully that'll start to thin out. It's really crowded now down I-40 over here in Hermitage. All that traffic arriving here in from Mount Juliet, coming in from Wilson County. Princess Hot Chicken now has brand new items on a brand new menu. Order online today at princesshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Gregory Dental Group in Lebanon is in a new location, 1746 West Main in Lebanon, across from Sports Village. Gregory Dental Group offers cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs.
No insurance? No problem. Call about the discount plan. Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322.
When it's more than just your lawn, it deserves the Kubota Z400. Get a head-turning offer on class-leading speed, agility, simple deck height adjustments, and a quality cut. When you need comfort and performance, then you need the professional-grade Kubota Z400. Right now, get the Kubota Z400 mower for 0 down, 0% APR for 48 months, or save $300. Now through March 31st. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main, Lebanon.
The
Farm Bureau Expo Center would like you to consider us for your next corporate outing. Our 79,000 square feet of adaptable event space offers unparalleled versatility right here in Wilson County. Trainings, luncheons, and meetings are just a few of the many types of events that we can accommodate throughout the week. For booking details, as well as upcoming events, visit farmbureauexpo.com or find us on Facebook at Farm Bureau Expo. We look forward to seeing you soon at the Farm Bureau Expo.
Coleman and Company, and we have State Representative Susan Lynn this morning. And back to our conversation, we really have some breaking news here this morning. It's I think we're going to be at least among the first to let people know about the ballot that's coming up. So I don't want to steal your thunder. You tell us. Oh
goodness! Well, I actually don't have a primary opponent. The newspaper did print that. And the Tennessee Republican Party removed from the ballot the person who filed to run as a Republican for this seat. And that is because the Republican Party has standards. You know, people criticize the party all the time. What? That person's really a Democrat. Why did you let them run? Why did you let them run? Well, the Tennessee Republican Party set up standards, and you have to have at least voted in a Republican primary in order to be a Republican. And this person had never, ever voted in a Republican primary ever. So they did remove the candidate from the ballot.
They did a little homework here. And
they look at all the people who filed. There's a filing deadline. And on that deadline, they pull the records of everybody just to make sure that, you know, someone of the opposite party isn't trying to run as a Republican and fool the voters. And, you know, maybe they'd be backed with a lot of money. So, you know, I think it's something that, you know, voters have asked for. They've asked for the party, hey, you know, step up and, you know, let's protect the party. Democrats too, you know, they right. want to protect their party and make sure that someone really is.
So what this means is, in the Republican primary will be in August. I guess it's always the first Thursday in August. It coincides with our general election here in the county. But you will not have an opponent there. There is somebody running for your seat that will be on the ballot in November in the general election.
Yes, right? Yes, yeah. There is a Democrat in the race. Absolutely.
So you want 2 more years, and and you're letting everybody know, of course.
I thank the voters for electing me as they have, and I'd be honored to represent them again.
All right, let's talk about what's taken place in the last 2 weeks. And by the way, I was going to ask you during the break, and I forgot, but if you don't mind and can, come back one more time. 2 weeks from today, we'll let you have your last time for this legislative session, but give us a little time to wrap up and so on, stuff we won't have time to get to today. But the budget was passed, and there's some preliminary and maybe a lot of not preliminary, but final things that's got to be done before you can adjourn. So talk about that.
Exactly. So we passed the budget on Thursday, and what we do in Tennessee is any bill that has a fiscal note, that means it costs money, we keep those bills what we call behind the budget. Mm-hmm. So we have to pass the budget first. That provides the funding for any new legislative initiatives, bills that cost money that we might want to do. And so we pass the budget first, and then after that, we pass all those bills that are behind the budget that were selected to be funded. You know, there's a lot of bills that pass out of committee. They come to the Finance Committee. They cost money, but we cannot, you know, pass every legislative initiative that comes out of committee. We just can't let our budget get out of control like that. So, you know, it's a process to weed out and just figure out, you know, what are the most important things with the limited amount of money that we have. What are the most important things that we need to pass into law for the people of the state of Tennessee? And so those bills will be passing. Well, we go into session today at noon. And so we will vote on those today. Tomorrow, we go back into session at noon. And Wednesday, we are slated for noon as well. But Thursday, we're slated for, I think, 8 a.m.
There's some things here I'm sure that people are going to really be pushing for. And what is this, the things here you're really passionate about?
I have only one bill that was behind the budget, but it really didn't have a fiscal note. We even do that. If something could potentially have a fiscal note, it goes behind the budget. So, and then other legislators, I know I've had so many legislators come up to me saying, hey, I've got this bill and I really want it funded. I really do. And, it's hard when you're on finance committee because you just tell them that sounds really important. It really does. But we have to make the decision as a group. So it can get difficult. And like I said, we don't reserve a lot of money for legislative initiatives. We just don't. This year it's $21 million. It sounds like a lot of money, but the entire budget is $52.8 billion. So we reserve $21 million for new initiatives, but the budget is $52.8 billion. Mm-hmm. Now, last year it was $64 billion. This year it's $52.8 billion. So most of that is federal money that simply went away, and it was never used. It was included in our budget. There was the potential for local governments or school systems to apply for it and use that money, and it just wasn't used. So it goes back to the federal government, and good. It won't help contribute to our deficit.
What you expect any fights here? Really, I mean, there's going to be a lot of people who are really passionate about wanting something done. Others who are not going to go along because we're limited here. So, how easy, how hard is it going to be to finish up? I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I think we will probably finish up maybe tomorrow or Wednesday. I do. Will there be any fights? We've had 3 members on the floor that pretty much want to speak on every single bill, and pretty much, that whole critical theory. There's critical race theory, but there's also something else. It's called critical theory. I read about it 8 years ago, I think, and that is that whatever somebody is doing, you criticize it and say the opposite. Whatever somebody is wanting to do or say, you criticize it and say the opposite just to try to tear it down. And that has become a political tactic. Critical theory has become a political tactic. And so we've seen that. They speak on just about every single bill. And, if the bill is saying let's go up, it says no, let's go down. If it's saying let's go east, they say no, let's go west. It's just that, just to criticize every single thing. And you know what? After a while, it's just, people realize what they're going to do. They realize they're going to say the exact opposite. We expect it to happen. And after a while, it just really falls on deaf ears.
I want to talk for a minute about this what was called the Gun in Schools bill, and I've heard it explained here by Senator Pody, also Representative Clark Boyd, that really it provided a way for some of these smaller counties who were limited in budget to hire somebody that was qualified, and they didn't have to do it. But there's been so much publicity about this. How do you feel about it?
Well, there will be protesters there again today. Last week there were students who, I don't know, they're from high schools coming to protest, and Twitter is saying that they will be back again today to protest. And this is a completely permissive bill, and that means the school system can utilize this law if they want to or not, and they don't have to. And it is also completely voluntary. If they do decide to utilize this law, it is completely voluntary for the teachers. If a teacher feels competent and they feel like that would help their classroom or their school, they can volunteer to be one of the teachers to do this. Also, there will be many, many rules and procedures about any teacher who did have a gun. And of course, the training is excessive. The background checks, all of that, notifying the sheriff of who has a gun, who doesn't. And, you hear all sides of the story and, all sides. But one thing that somebody said to me recently is, if I am waiting for the police to arrive and I am in my classroom protecting these children, I'd rather be waiting with a gun than without a gun. And so some people do feel that way. I have a carry permit, and I probably shouldn't say whether or not I carry a gun with me all the time, but I have a carry permit. And you know what? In Tennessee, most of the people that you see at the store, I'm telling you, they have a gun. They do. They have a gun, and it really does make society safer.
Did you support this bill?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, all right, we got about a minute left here. Time's flown by this morning. I'm glad you had a great trip to Texas, and that border thing's got to be a great experience. We could spend the whole time talking about it, but anything you want to say before you go? Yes,
Senator Phil King in Texas, he was our host for this, and he arranged the entire trip, everything, and I just thanks Senator King. It was an amazing trip. We learned so much, and he's been bringing in other legislators from all around the country in small groups to desperately show them what is going on at the border, how much it's costing Texas, and also to show their appreciation for the guardsmen that we've sent there.
Well, I'm just glad you got to go and are here to tell us about it and firsthand report, in other words. Mm-hmm. But we'll invite you back in 2 weeks. The legislature hopefully is going to adjourn this week, but we'll have Representative Board next week, have you one more time, and it'll all be over for this year. So Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
State Representative Susan Lynn and Part 1 of Coleman and Company. We've got more. We hope you'll keep it right here, FM 98.9.
And now let's check back in with Commander Chuck and on-time traffic, see what's happening out there on those roadways. Traffic brought to you by Absolute Kubota, where premium brands require premium parts and service. Contact Absolute Kubota's Elite Certified Service Department to schedule an appointment. 1506 West Main Street in Lebanon, and you can call them at 615-449-6171. And now here's Commander Chuck.
Good morning. Traffic's cranking up pretty good with some volume now. Westbound on Vietnam Vets coming through Hendersonville, working your way towards Conference Drive. It's crowded over here now on 40 West at Spence Lane, watching it just build big time there in the Hermitage area, and coming in with all that heavy traffic flow from Wilson County into Hermitage on 40 West at Central Pike. It's loading up pretty good now on 24 westbound out of Rutherford County as you head up to the Antioch area. 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in Middle Tennessee. It's Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Sunny skies expected through Middle Tennessee today, warming up to a high of about 67. Heading into the overnight with clear skies, slow down to 41. Tuesday, sunshine, gusty south winds driving our temperature to 74. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your homeland or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's a look at your forecast. I'm Stormy Clausen.
And we continue. Welcome to Part 2 here on a Monday morning. We're glad to have you. The sun is shining, a magnificent Monday. And Gail Hellam's here to make it even more better. Gail, good morning.
Good morning.
Gail, of course, is the Director of Marketing and Events for the Farm Bureau Expo Center and comes here each Monday to give us an update, let us know the place still is there and going well and staying busy, and taxpayers are getting a good return on their money.
That's correct. That's correct. We are still there.
Well, how are you?
I am doing well. It's been a busy time at the expo for lots and lots of reasons. We're in the middle of budget season, as you know. And so we have been assessing what we need to look at short-term, long-term for how to keep the expo in good shape and be able to provide the services that our event planners need. And with that comes the fact that we actually have a position open. And I thought that would be an interesting thing to talk about today, because a lot of people don't realize that, we are self-sufficient, so we work, the money that we make helps offset our costs, mm-hmm. as well as our salaries. And we do everything we do for all of the events that we have every year with about 6 people. And people are usually pretty surprised about that. I think they're expecting like this major staff that comes in and turns things over overnight. And that's just not the case. We do it with 6 people. And we actually have an opportunity to join our team from the custodial side in part of that setup and turnover right now. And that's really critical because when you're doing it with 6 and you're missing 1, the dynamics change slightly with what you've got to get done in a short period of time.
So if somebody's interested, what do they need to do?
They need to visit the Wilson County website and go into the HR department to the job openings. And it's listed there. It is listed as a custodian setup. It says groundskeeper, but I'm not really sure why because they don't take care of the grounds. But you can find it on wilsoncountygovernment.applytojob.com.
Okay. And enough information's there. You'd probably, even from reading that, just know pretty much whether this is something for you or not.
Oh, absolutely. You should have a really good idea if it's a good fit. You're going to find the salary information listed there. You're going to find the details of the job. And of course, I think everybody agrees that job descriptions are sometimes difficult to interpret to some degree because it's not till you get into the job that you truly understand that. Mm-hmm. But we have a phenomenal team to work with.
Is this basically a 40-hour a week job?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Opportunity for overtime occasionally?
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yes. I work diligently to make that happen.
Well, as I've mentioned nearly every Monday when I pass by you, and there was something big that happened this past weekend. I don't know what.
Yeah, big dance team. It's that season. We're in that season. We're rounding out that season right now. So yeah, big dance team this coming weekend. Farm Bureau does their women's conference. So that's a big deal for them. Lots and lots of people from across the state come to that. And then the next weekend, we're the rain plan for Cumberland University's graduation.
Yeah.
So if we have the graduation there, I would probably avoid the traffic right outside the expo on Saturday morning. I'm just saying, it's going to be a lot of people.
Rusty Richardson's promised us the sun's going to shine and it's all going to be in Cumberland County.
They're hoping.
Oh, I know.
They're hoping. But the thing is, the beautiful thing about that is that the planning and the coordination between us and them is if they have to flex to a rain date, we're ready. We know it needs to do.
Yeah.
So we're ready for them.
Well, that's good, and you've had a little practice in all of this too. I mean, you've talked about your team and doing this with the 6 people, but I guess you've experienced most of the different things you can experience to make you ready for almost anything that's going to happen.
Well, I would like to think so. A combination of what I've done in the past, and I've done more than my fair share of events. Yeah. And I diligently work to bring new things to the expo. We've got one that I just booked. It's a true crime. It's manifesting out of a true crime podcast. So talking about, some of these more notorious crimes that have happened throughout the country, and really doing a deep dive. And it is pretty fascinating. I don't have the bandwidth to stay focused on it and learn all about it all the time, but it is a very interesting opportunity to come and learn about some things that I like to understand why people do what they do. And so that's kind of why it fascinates me. So, little things like that. We try to find new stuff.
All right. Well, thanks for being with us. We'll do it again next Monday.
Sounds wonderful. Have a great day.
Gail Helen, the Director of Marketing and Events for Farm Bureau Expo Center. And that takes us to about 23 minutes before the hour. And a special program this morning featuring Friendship Christian School. Key McKinney is here and gonna get us started. Key, it's always when you call or email or text me, it's usually something pertaining to friendship and what you do there, and I always make available time if we can. It's worked out well for you to be with us today, and you've got 3 people that we're going to be talking with, but Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Coleman, and I so appreciate you always being willing to invite us and let us come in and tell you about what's happening here at Friendship Christian
Well,
School.
thank you. And Mr. Shoulders, John Shoulders, I hope he's doing okay.
He's doing great.
Don't get to see him like we used to, but he's been there a good while, and seems like friendship's going and growing.
Oh, it sure is. And we had a big night of the arts last week, and it just went so well. So many people coming to visit, lots of families, lots of smiles. It was a wonderful evening.
All right. Friendship School is going to present the Drowsy Chaperone Jr. Friday, April 26th, 7 p.m., Saturday, April 27th at 7 p.m., Sunday, April 28th at 3 p.m.
That's correct.
And you are here and have three people who are here to talk about that,
That's right.
Well, I understand that one of these young ladies has got to leave early.
She has a field trip today, so Georgia will be the first one to get to speak with you today.
Well, we'll talk about the tickets and maybe even some more of the show with you and others, but since Georgia is on limited time here, Georgia Flowers, good morning. Well, say that again. I didn't have your mic on.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
All right. Good morning and welcome to our program. 11th grade, that means you got one more after this,
yes,
right?
Sir.
This is called the Drowsy Chaperone Jr. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, it's a very fun-filled show, and I love that all the parts are kind of equal this year. There's not one main star, it's all spread out, and it just brings a smile to your face. It's really happy and a very musical show.
All right, what's your part in all of this?
I'm the Drowsy Chaperone.
Oh?
Yes, sir.
So really the lead role, if there is one, I guess.
Yes.
Have you been on stage, you done this sort of thing before?
Yes, sir. This is my third year.
Yeah, you love it.
I do. I do.
I can almost tell that you do.
Yes.
What's your experience been like at Friendship? Been a great time?
I've loved it. I've gone there since second grade, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. My faith has grown, and academically, I'm so blessed, and I love all of my teachers, including Miss McKinney, and all of my friends. I have such a close group. I'm just so blessed to be there.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about the Drowsy Chaperone Jr. Why would somebody want to come to see this?
Well, it really does just put a smile on your face, and it has a lot of really good morals that the narrator gets to tell, and it's really just a little kid to adult show.
Mm-hmm. How long y'all been practicing on this?
Since January.
Oh. January, February, 3.5 months, maybe?
Yes, sir.
3 anyway.
Yes.
Well, I was in a play in high school one time, just one, but it was a long, drawn-out thing
yes,
this, and it takes a while to learn your lines, to be where you're supposed to be, and all this. But you get it down to almost to a science, get it perfected.
Oh yes, I could do it in my sleep.
That's and that's part of the fun of it, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Well, talk about your director here a little bit, Kay McKinney. You already mentioned how much you love her, but what's it like?
Well, she's just lovely. She's so easy to work with, and it's always a pleasure getting to hear her ideas and being reciprocated back, and we just all work as one big family unit.
Well, you're kind of our star here for 5 minutes this morning. If you don't mind, others can talk about this later, but talk about the Drowsy Chaperone Jr. a little bit more, and why you think people, they want to come to see you and the others, obviously, and it's a Friendship production, and Key always does a great job, but more about it, if you will.
Well, goodness, Maddie, what do you think?
It's just an amazing show. Like Georgia said, there's not one main lead, and so it just really, you get to see so many talented people share their gifts, and it's just really, at the very end, all these different stories come together and make one big story, and it's just really cool to see all the people come together and sing one last song, and it's a really beautiful moment.
Yeah, and speaking of talented gifts, Maddie and Eli here, they clog in it, they do a phenomenal job. It's awesome.
All right, that's Maddie Maynard, and you're also in the 11th grade.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Right. You said you've done others. Is this the best one yet?
In my humble opinion, yes, it is. I'm very excited for it.
All right. Again, if you joined us late, we're featuring people from Friendship Christian this morning. The Drowsy Chaperone Jr. and 3 performances coming up this weekend. We'll talk more about that later, but it's only $10 for adults, $5 for students, and the ticket table opens at 6 p.m. on April 26th, 27th, 2 p.m. on April 28th. But we certainly glad to have you here to talk about this. Any problems in what you have done in learning to do your part here, George?
Not really. This year it's gone really smoothly. Like, we've been able to run through the whole show multiple times, and usually we don't get until about this week. So it's going really well this year, and the costuming is excellent, and everyone's part is so needed, even the ensemble, and it's really just a great opportunity for 6th through 12th graders to really learn and experience how to put yourself out there and want to be on stage.
Do you just have these 3 performances, or do you do one for the student body?
It's just this performance.
So if you go to Friendship and want to see it, you've got to come at one of the 3,
yes,
like
sir.
Everybody else. Okay, just to let everybody know. All right, Key, anything you want to tell us? You've got about a minute before we go to a break.
Okay. I would like to give credit also to the wonderful music director, Andrew Vaughn, the wonderful light and sound director, Aaron Sane, my assistant director, Sam Sherrill, our choreographer, Miriam Kidd. They all are phenomenal, and we could not do it without them.
Well, it's more than just people that are on the stage. There are a lot of roles that are played when you do something like this, and everybody needs to pull their weight, do their part, and do it well for an excellent production. But I'm sure it's going to be.
Well, we are so excited. I do believe that it's the best one that we've done, and we're excited for the younger students. Like Georgia said, 6th graders. We have 6th graders through 12th graders in this production, 25 cast members, and we are so excited.
All right. Well, everybody's got to say a word except Eli Maynard. Eli, we're going to a break here in just a moment. You'll have your part on the other side, but good morning and welcome to Coleman and Company.
Good morning, Coleman.
And you are in the 9th grade. You having fun at Friendship?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
And love the Drowsy Chaperone Jr.
Oh, I love it.
All right. With that, let's take our break right here and I guess we'll say goodbye to Georgia Flowers.
Thank you for having me. I
Thank
appreciate
you for
it.
being with us this morning. We appreciate it. A break right here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And now let's check back in with Commander Chuck and on-time traffic. See how we're doing out there on the roadways. Traffic brought to you by Bates Ford, located at 1673 West Main Street. They got the oil change special, $39.95, up to 5 quarts, plus disposal. And you can give them a call to get more info at 444-8221. And here's Commander Chuck.
Good morning. They were moving a stalled vehicle, and it's causing a bit of a slowdown. A lot of rubbernecking on 40 eastbound, just past 46th Avenue before you get up to 440. Still heavy coming through Hermitage, Donaldson right now with a heavy traffic flow on 40 coming westbound. They're passing Donaldson Pike. It's loaded up pretty good with a heavy traffic volume right on schedule coming in from Murfreesboro, Rutherford County, 24 west up through Antioch. 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in Middle Tennessee. Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Are you facing a challenging time that you need help navigating? Well, look no further than your local law firm of Kane and Crowell. At the offices of Kane and Crowell, our team of experienced attorneys is here to guide you through every step of the process. With a proven track record of success and a commitment to our clients and our community, look no further than the team at Kane and Crowell to fight for your rights and provide representation you deserve. 615-784-4800.
And we welcome you to our final segment of Coleman and Company here on Monday morning. I I said we call it a magnificent Monday, regardless of what the weather is like, but it's pretty magnificent this morning, and the sun is shining. We're just glad to have our friends from Friendship Christian School with us this morning. The Drowsy Chaperone Jr. going to be presented in 3 performances this coming weekend, and Key McKinney is the director, and she's here with us.
Good morning.
Again, we're always glad to see you, and appreciate being able to offer you this opportunity. But I think you mean a lot to Friendship and to us when you come here and talk about this.
Oh, that's so sweet. I appreciate that so much. It's just such an honor to be able to come and speak with you yearly like this, and you're so welcoming, and I appreciate that, and I am a blessed woman to be at Friendship Christian School.
All right, I didn't get all I wanted out of Georgia about what the Drowsy Chaperone Jr. is all about. So give us I guess synopsis would be the word, a summary, what it's all about.
Okay. The Drowsy Chaperone Jr. is a story about a man. He's the main character probably because he's on stage the whole time, and he's the narrator, and he's called Man in Chair, and that's his character name. And he talks about how much he loves musical theater, and he has a record. He pulls out the record called The Drowsy Chaperone. It's his favorite musical. He plays the record, and as he plays it, the characters come to life from 1928.
Okay,
and
so that's kind of the setting there.
That's
all right,
the setting.
Now we got it. All right.
And so we get to see these characters from 1928. And one of his lines is, it's halfway between a show tune and a Looney Tune, and that's the glory of musical theater.
Okay. Any particular reason you chose this? I take it you're the one who picked this.
Yes, sir. I always try to find something that I think will be enjoyable to the audience. Everybody wants to leave with a smile on their face and a song in their heart. And even though we may not have known these songs before, they play through my mind constantly. And they're fun and silly and, as he says, ridiculous, but they are joyful. And everybody needs some joy.
All right. Well, again, a reminder that you get $10 for adult tickets, $5 for students, and there are 3 opportunities: Friday, April 26th at 7, as well as Saturday, April 27th at 7. Then Sunday afternoon, April 28th at 3. So. The tickets available at the door, or
yes, they can buy tickets if they want to go online at www.gofan.co, which is where most sporting events tickets are sold for all the different sporting events at our school as well as in the community. But tickets will be sold at the door as well.
Okay. All right. Maddie, an 11th grader, along with Georgia Flowers, who was with us and had to leave. You've been on the stage before at Friendship?
Yes, sir. This is my 4th performance. Me and Georgia, we started in 8th grade with Miss McKinney, and it's just crazy to see how much we've done these past 4 years.
You really enjoy this practice. It's kind of a grind. I mean, you have to make time for this, and I imagine you have to be on time.
Yes,
it's supposed to be. But there's a certain friendship. Extra friendship you establish with those you're on stage with, right?
Yes, sir. Like Georgia said, we've been practicing since January, so we've gotten to spend a lot of time together, and I think this really has helped us grow as a cast. We're very close with each other, and we also have 3 amazing seniors this year who have really led us in the right direction. They've been a wonderful influence on us, and it'll be really sad to see them go.
Yeah. All right, I want to spend a little time with Eli now. Eli Maynard, only a 9th grader, but I would think you're at least a sophomore, but you will be next year, right?
Yes, sir.
Tell us about your part in this.
Well, my name is George in the production, and I'm the best friend of the main character, and very organized, kind of, I guess you could say mature, kind of sophisticated, but also got to get stuff done, kind of just nail everything down. So
sound like an A personality, I believe they call that driver.
Yeah.
You like that?
Oh yes, sir. I enjoy it. I love it. I love the role I got. So.
Is this your first time on stage at Friendship?
No, sir. This is my 2nd year. I wasn't even supposed to do it until Miss McKinney came up to me while wrestling practice and said, "If you want to do it, you can." So it's been history ever since, and I've never looked back. I love it.
Something about being on stage and having a line or two, isn't there?
Yes, sir, there is.
Yeah. Well, I know you invite all your friends to come see you.
Yes, sir.
Tell us. I mean, you're just in the ninth grade. We would call that freshman year in high school. How long have you actually been at Friendship?
I've been at Friendship since kindergarten. Never known anything different, and I wouldn't really want to know anything different. I love it there so much, and like Georgia said, it's grown my faith. I've got close friend groups. I've gotten so much out of it. It challenges me academically. I mean, I love it.
What do you do besides being on stage if they let you?
Well, I play football. I wrestle, and I'm on the Evergreen Cloggers here in town.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
You like to clog?
Oh, I love it. Been doing it for about 9 years.
Yeah.
So.
Well, how's your football experience been?
Oh, I love it. It's so much fun.
What position you play?
Offensive line and defensive line.
Oh, okay. All right. And you've got 3 more years, right?
Yes, sir, I do.
Yeah. Well, I didn't get to ask Georgia this, but I guess we could take a second here and ask each one of you. And this may be a little premature from you, but I doubt it. But I'm going to Maddie first. What are you planning to do once you graduate from Friendship?
That's a really good question. I'd like to go to college. I don't know where yet, but I really like biology and chemistry, so I'd like to pursue a career in that.
Okay. All right. What about you, Eli?
I'd like to go into construction or maybe car restoration.
Well, what prompted that on your part?
Well, I grew up around cars. My father and grandfather have taken me to car shows since I was 1. And getting to see them work on it, it's always made me want to do it too.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we wish you well, whatever. Key, I can't help but I know times have changed, and I'm an old man, but when I was their age, it would have scared me to death to come here, to have been on the radio, and I would have fumbled around and stumbled and whatever. They're so articulate.
Yes,
they
so
express
eloquent.
themselves so well.
They do. And that's just them. They are students that are so welcoming to others and so kind and willing to go up to others and greet them in a very mature way and help them to feel like there's somebody friendly toward them. Mm-hmm. If they see someone that's by themselves, they'll go over and talk to them. That's something that I've really admired about the Friendship community is the older students are always there for the younger students. Mm-hmm. And I just admire that. I just think it's wonderful.
Doesn't sound like Eli needs anybody to be there for him.
That's right. He's one of the leaders for sure, and so is Maddie, and so is Georgia.
Well, that may be a left-handed compliment, but it is a compliment, obviously. And I mean, I just I guess to say you've impressed me, and appreciate all the good things you're able to do and to express yourself and so on. And it's I guess it's all part of the friendship experience for you, right?
Yes, sir. All
right. Well, 4 minutes left here this morning. Again, the Drowsy Chaperone Junior this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Friendship. You have one every year like this, right? Mm-hmm. At this time of year, I think.
That's correct. Every spring. We call it our spring musical, and it's usually the last weekend in April.
Mm-hmm. Now, what do you do? Do you have anything else?
In the fall, we will do a drama production with my drama students, and usually it's a one-act comedy, something that, because most of them have never had a drama experience before, so that's sort of to get them initiated into what it's like to be on stage, and then most of them will try out for the spring musical when the time comes. And it's a school-wide, 6th graders through 12th graders are invited to try out.
Well, one thing we might ask each one of them, how much, what music means to you, what role music plays in your life. What about it, Maddie?
I would say whether going to concerts or being in the musical, I think it just really brings people together. You take a common thing that people like, and you can really do a lot with it if you stick together and you push forward. Like the play at the beginning of when we started practicing, I never would have thought it was as good as it is now. Like, I love my castmates, but I've really been impressed by how much they've grown and how much they've learned, and it's been an amazing experience.
What about you, Eli? What music? You love it?
Oh, I love music. I mean, I guess there's different kind of genres, different kind of musics to show the true emotion, like music for when you're happy, music for when you're sad, and like Maddie said, it unites everybody. I mean, concerts, the play, like Maddie said, it's come a long, long way, a very long way.
Music have anything to do with your future necessarily?
Probably not, but you never know. It's in God's hands. If that's where He wants me to go, that's where I'll go.
Okay, very, very, very good answer. Well, if you joined us late one more time, Friendship Christian presents the Drowsy Chaperone Jr. 3 performances, and I guess that's worked pretty well for you too, hasn't
it? That way with a matinee on Sunday, we're able to get people who maybe don't want to come out at night. They're still able to get there after their church service in the morning and before their church service in the evening, and it will last about an hour and a half. Mm-hmm. And so,
do you have a break?
We do not.
No,
with the junior productions, we usually don't. We just run straight through so that people are able to be seated, enjoy the show, and then exit.
Does the cast get out at the entrance?
We will.
Yeah, that's always nice to get to see and shake hands as you leave.
Yeah,
I always like that.
They get I'll tell them that they get to see their adoring fans.
Yeah.
At the end, yes.
All right. Well, 3 performances and tickets are $10 for adults, $5 for students. You can get at www.gofan.com, www.gofan.co.
Correct.
Right. Or you can get them at the door.
Correct.
But we have enjoyed having first Georgia Flowers this morning, who didn't stay with us the whole time. But Manny Maynard, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Enjoyed it. Eli Maynard, good to see you.
Good to see you too, sir.
And Key McKinney, it's always nice to have you.
It's
Thanks
always
for
a pleasure to see you, Coleman. Thank you so much.
Well, that is going to do it for Monday. And thank you so much for joining us. The Tuesday edition will be here tomorrow, and I'll be back on Wednesday. And until then, I wish you a magnificent day.